Hello, my name is Kennedy and welcome to my channel. I'm both very excited and nervous about this video because this is going to be my reading vlog and me finishing the acotar series. So I only have 3 books with me right now. Book 1 I gave to my cousin to read. I already read book 1 back in like July, August of last year, so it has been a while, but I remember everything pretty well. And as I said, I've given that to my cousin. And the 5th book I need to go buy. So this video, once I'm done reading all these, will also give me an excuse to go to the bookstore. So I'm very excited about that. But basically this video will be me continuing the acotar series. I've only read book 1 and I'm just gonna do a reading vlog. I won't be filming every day or anything, just filming whenever I want, whenever there's something I want to talk about. This video is going to be full of spoilers. I'm going to talk very detailed things about the books and just have someone to talk about it with because I don't have anyone that really reads and my cousin has still not read the first book. It's coming at a really good time to read the series. I know I've taken a long break, but I've been reading so much like high fantasy, depressing fantasy and sci-fi that I just needed a fun fairy world, hot fae adventure. And this is just what I needed. So I'm in the mood for it. I've been in a really big reading slump, but I really loved reading acotar. I read it really fast, so hopefully that's how it continues. And I know everyone says book 2 is like the best. I'm just excited to get back into this world and these characters and see what happens with them. Because acotar was just such a fun ride. It's not usually the book I tend to go for, but it was so fun. So yeah, this is just going on my journey with me reading acotar and seeing how I feel about everything. I also decided, because there's so many characters and I know opinions change on a lot of characters, and my opinions just in general always change on characters. Obviously, I have a lot more story to go. So I decided I'm going to make a bar graph and I'm going to put it up here and say like how much I like the characters right now. And then as I get through the books, probably halfway through each book and at the end of each book, I will update my character rankings and we'll see how people climb up and fall down, which should be really fun and exciting. I also do want to say that obviously acotar is everywhere, and going into book 2, I'm happy to say I've rarely been spoiled. So I do not know much about what happens. I know that everyone hates Tamlin, so I'm excited to finally learn what that's all about. So the only thing that I really got spoiled on is that Feyre's sisters turn into fays. And I think one of them gets with Lucien, which, yeah, that sucks. I got spoiled that. But for that being the only thing I'm spoiled on, I'm pretty happy about that. It doesn't really ruin the story for me. I'm excited to see how that goes. I also know that Cassian and Azriel like exist and that they're the Bat Boys in the Night Court or whatever, and that's really all I know. So I'm going into this pretty much on a clean slate, and yeah, this is a long intro, but just wanted to explain everything. And here is my bar graph after finishing book 1 and before starting book 2. So these are how I feel about all the characters after book 1. I'm going to keep them the same color coded, and if there's more characters that I want to add, then I may add more characters later on. But I'm going to keep this color coded so we can see how they rise and fall. So I have Feyre at 60 here. Honestly, a lot of things she did annoyed me, but I didn't hate her as a main character. She's a decent main character, so I just kind of put her at 60. I'm very like meh about her. I have Tamlin and Rysand both at 50. I want to see how they compete against each other and fall and drop in my eyes. Obviously, I know I'm probably going to like Rysand the most at the end or more than Tamlin, but right now I'm going to start them at 50-50s. In book one, there's been things that I really like about both of them and things that I dislike about both of them. So I think that's a good start. For her sisters, Elaine and Nesta, I just didn't really get to know them much, so I put them pretty low, but I like Nesta a little more. She was bad at the beginning, but then she was kind of coming in clutch at the end, so I put her a little higher. And then Lucien is just my favorite. Like, I was a Lucien girl this whole book, so hopefully he stays good because he was just always coming in clutch. I love Lucien. Then I also did put Cassian and Azriel on here. I just have them started at 10 for now, just so I can like put their colors up there. They're starting on even ground. But I'm calling it right now after seeing all the fan art. I think I'm gonna be an Azriel girl, but I don't know. That's just my guess though. I think Azriel might end up being like my favorite character, but we will see. That is the intro, and let's see how I like these books. And just follow along on this journey with me. I will say though, it might take a while. I also kind of want to see how long it will take me to finish it all because I've been reading like maybe one and a half books a month, but I've been going well so far this month. It is currently April 8th. So let's just see how we do, go along on this journey, and tell me your favorite characters in the book. So I'm about 50 pages into the book already. I just passed the wedding scene, and oh my gosh, this is why I started reading this book. It's the perfect time. This is definitely gonna get me out of my slump. I'm so excited. So already Tamlin is giving really bad vibes throughout this book. I still think at this point, my thinking is that like he still does love her and really is trying to protect her and just has a lot on his plate. But it's like, she legit is a prisoner. But Rysand, the way Rysand just came into this wedding, he's already getting major points on my bar graph. Like the way he can obviously like see and hear her, like it's been 3 months and he has not disrupted her. But the fact that she was saying, help me, save me, anyone, and then he just came in the hello, Feyre darling line, I finally heard it. It was all just perfect. And this man just came to this wedding with like 300 high fae into Tamlin's court and literally just disrupted their wedding. And that's crazy and hot. So love it. I'm so glad to be reading this book. Okay, so it is late. I am in bed and I've been reading so much of the book. I am on page 260 and it is only the second day. It's really crazy because I've been struggling to read like 50 pages of a book and I've just been reading this like so fast. It's really one of the only books I read that it truly doesn't feel like I'm reading, and I just love every second of it. I'm currently at the part where Feyre, Cassian, Azriel, and Rysand go to meet her sisters to start to come up with the plan and stuff. And it is just great because the sisters obviously have their own personalities and Rysand's group have theirs. And it's just a meeting I wasn't expecting, but I love. I'll talk about the characters in a second because I did update the bar graph. But just in general, I'm liking Feyre a lot more now. She's actually, in a weird way, like being kind of relatable because I'm going through some things in life as well, not really knowing my place and struggling with certain things like that. And obviously she's going through a lot more. But yeah, she's being kind of relatable in this book. And there was a quote in there about how she was reading and she loved just going into the different worlds and seeing those characters because she felt less alone. And I thought that was a really cool quote. I also love when she was with Tamlin, how she was just like hating on him so hard in her mind. Like he would be doing all this stuff and he would just keep saying, I'm sorry, I'm going to protect you. And she's like, oh, I know, I understand. And then her mind would be like, I don't understand at all. He would get her a gift. She'd be like, oh, I love it. And she'd be like, this is the worst gift ever. Like the painting, he just keeps obsessing about the painting. And it was hilarious to me. Like Feyre was giving no fucks in this book, and I love that for her. Love the growth. The only thing that's annoying me a little is how they just keep bringing up Amarantha. Like, her name has been in this book the whole time, and she's no longer here, so I would love to just stop hearing her name. But I also get it, because it's kind of bringing her and Rysand together. But with all that being said, let's get into the characters. So I kind of already talked about Feyre. She's moved up on my list. I'm enjoying her as a character, enjoying this growth, enjoying her powers and the decisions that she's making. And I'm just enjoying her a lot more right now. So that's good. Tamlin. Obviously, we moved Tamlin far down. I think he could go down lower. There's room to go down, maybe go up a little, probably not. I don't know. Obviously, we got to the part where he trapped her in the house, and I don't know if that's like the big part why people hate him or if he does more. But yeah, he's just been very annoying this whole book. Way too overprotective and just like Rysand pointed out, not caring about her throwing up or her feelings in general at all. She's just kind of like a pretty plaything to him. He's been getting really mad and destroying things, which is a huge red flag. He's just a walking red flag at this point, and trapping her in the house was the boiling point to that. So bye, Tamlin. It's just so funny to me, like, that Rysand is just so much more powerful than him. Like, Tamlin just can't do anything. Rysand will just come in, and Tamlin cannot do anything. He cannot even get Feyre back right now, and that's hilarious. Like, when Mor rescued her, she said that Rysand broke his shield in like a half a breath, which is just so hilarious. And I love how Feyre being with Rysand now, she's realizing like how bad of a situation she was truly in. And it kind of shows the readers too how bad of a situation she was truly in, because I kind of fell into the category like, oh, you know, he is just being really protective and scared for her life, and it is dangerous a little bit. But it's like, no, he was being, you know, really fucked up to her. Still, I guess onto Tamlin. I still do not get like his motives 100%. Like, does he really just love her and care about her and really did just want to protect her so much? Or is there some other evil motives going there? Rysand kind of hinted that he, Tamlin might be working with Hybern and stuff, so we're gonna see about that. I'm really just curious as to his motives and seeing how his character is going to come back into play after all this, because I haven't seen him in a while since he trapped Feyre. Moving on to Rysand, he is obviously at 100%. I get all the hype. I am there for all the hype. He is amazing. He's just literally always there for her whenever she needs. At the same time, he also lets her have her space whenever she requests like to go home or do something. He allows that. He also lets her to come with, and he's risked himself and all of his best friends and everything in bringing her here. So he actually really cares about her, and he's just the ultimate like protector and always standing by her. He's very good to all his close friends and stuff. And yeah, I just love everything about Rysand, and he's a badass and funny as well. So he's perfect. He's a 100. I don't know if he'll ever drop from that, but yeah, I get the hype. But I forgot to add, I changed a couple colors and like positions of the people in the bar graph. There's just colors I thought fit people better. And so yeah, this is how it's gonna be from now on, this order and colors. But anyway, moving on to Lucien. We didn't get a lot of Lucien this time. I still put him decently high, but I moved him lower just a little bit because I do not know his intentions. Like, obviously he kind of let Tamlin do all this to Feyre, but there was nothing he could do, and he really did try and like seemed to feel really bad for Feyre and did seem to help her, like taking her to the town, and he would just always get a sad look in his eyes when Tamlin would do something to her or something seemed unfair, and it was like he was kind of fighting for her behind the scenes, you know, but there's not much he could do. He had to be loyal. So it's like, I don't really know where he plays in all this either, but I still think ultimately he's a good guy and I still like him. So right now he's still pretty high, but I just want him, I want to see more of him, see what's really up with him. Then we got Azriel and Cassian. I really love them both. Haven't seen enough of them to really have a favorite, but as I said, as I guess I'm an Azriel girl, I'm liking him just a little bit more, so I put him a little higher, but I love them both. I love the three of them and Feyre's little group that they have going on. Oh, also, I really like Mor and Amryn. I don't know enough about them, how they're going to be in the story to put them on the list, but I'm really liking them so far. I think Mor is really cool, and Amryn is very, very intriguing of a character. But yeah, I'm liking Azrael. I like the quiet, cute shadow boys. Cassian is really funny though. Then for the sisters, Elaine and Nesta, they're finally coming back into the book. I just, again, do not know much about them as character. I don't really feel much for them yet, so that's why they're still low. And Elaine obviously is the one who's like very sweet to Feyre and like is allowing them to come in, trying to be nice to all the fairies, and like got all the people out of the house and stuff, so she helped a lot. She's coming in clutch and not being rude. But I put Nesta a little higher just because Nesta is hilarious. She's always cracking me up with what she says and does in the most ridiculous way, so that's why she's a little higher. But yeah, that's my check-in. I'm flying through this book. I'm so happy. I literally even had a dream last night about being in Prathian. So yeah, I'm so glad that I am on this journey right now. And I'll check back in at a later time. It is like 1 a.m. I'm in bed again, reading acotar, of course. 429, and I really wasn't going to make a video until the end of this book, but I just got past the throne scene in the night court, and yeah, I mean, I honestly don't even know what to say about it. Just, you guys know what I'm talking about, and it was quite a scene. That's all I have to say. The Rhys standing is definitely at an all-time high. As for the rest of the book, I'm liking Feyre a little less again because she's coming more into herself. I guess I liked like the depressed Feyre. But now she's talking about painting again and seeing things as painting. And I just always hated in the first book how she always mentioned things being a picture and that she would paint it. She did so much in the first book. It really annoyed me, and now she's kind of doing it again. I'm liking, obviously, that she's coming out of her depression, finding herself again, but herself kind of annoyed me. And then now she's fighting with Rhys, and she just always says stupid, mean, out-of-pocket shit all the time. I don't hate her, but I'm putting her down a little peg for sure. I do like seeing her powers grow, but yeah, she's getting marked down a little bit. I really am liking the pacing of this book and just acotar in general. I think it does a really good job of there being dialogue, character development, world building, and action at the same time. It just flows so well. It doesn't feel like I'm reading. And yeah, I'm excited just to see where this series goes. It's about to be Starfall. I'm pretty sure that's called the holiday in Valeris right now, and you know, Rhys and Feyre are kind of in a little fight right now, but she's finally admitting her feelings, and I kind of like that their romance, like, I mean, it's the end of the book, and you know, they would just have their little flirty moments and stuff. But I like that it lasted through the whole book. I thought kind of right away, you know, they would be getting spicy and stuff. So I really like how their relationship has played out so far. And I'm hoping they end up together. And I think this night at Starfall might be the night. So we'll see. I just wanted to do a little check-in because that throne scene definitely caught me off guard. Hello, it is me at nighttime once again. That's kind of the only time I've been reading lately. But I'm on page around 480, and we finally got a Rhys Feyre spicy scene. I'm not even gonna lie, Miss Sarah J. Maas went hard on this scene and was just giving us all the Rhys content that we've deserved and we've been waiting for. And I'm very happy for them. I didn't like that it was the whole like one bed trope thing, especially because I know he can't use his magic, okay, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't love that trope, but I mean, it worked out, you know? Some of the things in that scene literally were making me like kind of laugh at the same time. But still, great scene, loving the couple, and I just had to come out here and talk about that scene again. I'm feeling like the first book, obviously, is like Tamlin and Feyre's story, and then this book is all just kind of like Rhys and Feyre's story now, which is why I think this is like their favorite book, because we just get so much Rhys and bad boy time, which I do love. But I'm curious to see what the other books are gonna cover then. Like, I'm guessing the war, and I think that will be like my favorite part. I am liking this though. I don't think it's like that much. I mean, it is better than the first book, but again, it's not really what's happening. It's more just because these characters are a lot better. I'm probably going to finish by tomorrow, so I'm really excited and going to dive right into the next book. Also, we seen Lucien randomly. That was like the least person I was expecting to see. I don't know how they found them. And I think Rhys would have tore him up way before, but he was letting Feyre do her thing. I don't know. But it was weird to see him, and I didn't really like how he reacted. I don't know. I really always liked Lucien, and still now I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just trying to do the right thing. He probably thought that Rhys had, like, kidnapped Feyre or whatever, or that he did something to her mind, and she just needs to realize and come back. But it's like, I don't know. He just needs to, like, chill and let her do her thing now. Like, he also did fuck up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Lucien. I hope we get a little more of him and he's a little different. But definitely loving the book overall. And hopefully this time, I mean, it is the end of the book, so probably crazy things will happen. I only have this much left, but I'll probably check in at the end of the book and have my character charts. So I finished the second book, and I am absolutely not okay. That ending was absolutely insane. I was shook. I finished it at like 1 a.m. I was screaming and just did not know what to do with my life after. I cannot believe that is how she ended the story, and thank God that I have the rest of the books in the series, because I need to start book 2 like ASAP. Of course, I talked about my feelings a lot while reading this book, but here's my general overview. So, and we're going to get into the characters after this, but I want to mention that I do think Feyre is pretty OP, and just as a story, like, obviously the book, it's not like the best world-breaking story ever, and I get that. It's not even supposed to be a book like that. So I gave it 4 stars. I really, really loved it. I liked it a lot better than the first one, but I don't know. I feel like 5 stars, like, kind of perfect in my book, and these books just aren't perfect, but I love them, and I get why everyone loves them. So, going back to Feyre being OP, yeah, she literally has, like, every single power you can possibly have. The healing one just made it like so much more OP. And I feel like she learned them like way too fast. I don't know. I know she did a lot of training, but that part is just kind of not believable. It's like, dang, she can just beat anyone now. Like, I love that for her, but I don't know. At the same time, I kind of don't like when characters are too OP, but we'll see what they do with it. I was really happy that the Surreal, I don't even know if that's how you say it, Surreal, made another appearance, and it was so funny. Like, I seen someone point out that when she accused him of like not telling her about being fated mates, he knew it was from the Surreal, and not because she figured it out herself, because she's blind as fuck. We all know that. I kind of fuck with the Surreal. Getting into this point, I'll mention it later, but Feyre always getting mad and getting into stupid fights and throwing little tantrums was really, really annoying, especially when her and Rhys were finally getting like romantic with each other, and she said that she just wanted a distraction. That made me so pissed. That was so fucked up. I felt so bad for my man Rhysand. He deserved way better than that shit, and I was mad at her for that. It brought her down a lot of points in my book. And now that she's becoming herself again, which obviously we love that for her, but I kind of didn't like her original self, and it's mainly the painting. The painting just pisses me off. I hate that being just one of her main personality traits, and like now she's just always talking about, I can paint this, I can paint that. I also seen like this theory, and someone said, just imagine if she's a really bad painter. And I'm serious, throughout the book, like I was like, no one ever like says that she's a really good painter. Like what if she's just not good? Which would just be hilarious, especially because after she painted their family cabin. That's just so funny. My next note about this book was that Amarantha's name was mentioned way too much. That girl is gone, and she is not a character in this book, but she was basically a character. I literally feel like besides Rysand and Feyre's names, Amarantha's name was brought up more than anyone else, and that's probably a fact. Like, that's how much her name was brought up, and I get it to a point, but it was just a lot. Like, I do not want to hear about Amaranth anymore. Obviously, I love that Feyre and Rysand are fated mates. His whole story where he just confessed everything in the cabin and she gave him the soup was like the cutest thing ever, and I would cry if a guy ever did even anything like that to me. I would love that. Rysand is perfect, we all know. And I really like how it kind of fit in with the explanation in book 1 of why he suddenly left her. I thought that was a really cool point, and to just see how he was having the dreams about her and she painted the stars on the desk, that all coming together was really, really sweet. And if these two have kids, which I'm assuming they will, they are going to be OP as fuck, and I'm going to love that. I also liked how he talked about Feyre being the High Lady, pretty much like the first ever High Lady. And when she kind of mentioned that to Tamlin, he's like, no, you don't have to worry about being a High Lady. Like, you're not a High Lady. So it was just funny, the difference between Rysand and Tamlin, obviously. We got a Rhys point of view at the end, and I want to see more Rhys POVs, especially because him and Feyre are going to be separated. So I'm assuming or hoping they're going to do more in the second book. I would love that. I would just love a whole Rysand POV. Like, he's the best. And I thought he was going to be all pissed about this at the end, which we're going to talk about in a second. And Feyre leaving, but he has like faith in her, and he's very confident, and I love that for them. They're very cute. So with all that being said, let's get into the ending. The ending was crazy. I just thought when Feyre put the two pieces of the book together that she fucked up. It was a bad decision, and she did, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways, because Tamlin and freaking Lucien were plotting and scheming and teamed up with the fucking king and Jurian, who is alive. That's crazy. I felt so bad when they all attacked Valeris. Like, damn, I'm so mad at the Mortal Queens and just that all that shit happened. That was awful. And I really hope and know that they will get their get back for that. But I'm also wondering what it will do to Valeris, like now that probably all of the Fae kind will know it's there. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. But yeah, so obviously everything fucks up. Rysand comes, the king comes. Azriel gets just fucking shot out of nowhere, which was crazy. Then Tamlin and Lucien appear, of course. And I'm not even going to lie, it's kind of funny that, like, Tamlin just buys this whole thing, and he's so confident in himself that, like, Rhys fucked her up, and she just didn't, like, choose him over Tamlin, and that Tamlin, she just doesn't fuck with Tamlin anymore. He just cannot get that through his head, and that's hilarious, like, that he's buying into all this shit. So I'm excited for that, because Tamlin, I feel like he's just gonna crack me up at this point by how dumb he is. And Lucien is smart. He's playing that game. Him and Feyre are going to be kind of going at each other. So I'm excited to see that. I like Feyre's, even though I didn't like her a lot in this book, she went up and down. I like her confidence at the end. Feyre's sisters, obviously that was very sad. It was definitely a traumatic event. That being said, I'm glad that they turned into Fae, and I'm glad that they're going to be in the story more so I can get to know them and see how they are in this Fae world and seeing their new dynamic with Feyre. Also seeing the dynamic between the Bat Boys and just everyone in Valeris and their mates. Like, Lucien, oh my god, Lucien just telling Elaine that he's her mate after this traumatic event that she just went through is crazy and hilarious. But yeah, I kind of thought Azriel and Elaine would be the mates, and Cassian and Nesta, which I love that for them. I cannot wait to see that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be Azriel and more, I'm assuming. I guess we'll see. But yeah, the whole situation was just crazy. Feyre handled fucking business. She stepped up. I was rooting for her those whole last pages. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. So with that being said, let's get into our final character ratings at the end of book 2. I pretty much said everything I need to say about Feyre in this. She went up and down, but the ending brought her up for me. I think she's just going to continue to keep going up and down. I don't really like her personality that much, but I'm liking what she's doing. I'm liking her being more powerful and confident, and I like her relationship with Rhys and her sisters and everyone, honestly. So yeah, this is just where she's at right now. Still like her, but not as much. Tamlin is obviously at a 0. Throughout most of this book, I was kind of confused at the hatred towards Tamlin. Like, people really despise this man. And the worst thing he's done to that point is just, like, be a dick and have anger issues and lock Feyre in the house, which obviously is not good at all, and he is an asshole. But I still did not understand the hate, and that was until he showed up at the king's place and just completely fucked everyone up. Now, sure, he did not mean for her sisters to be involved. Sure, he didn't mean for certain things to happen, but that doesn't really matter when he's the one who just teamed up and schemed and did this and really acts like he's saving Feyre from Rysand, which is absolutely crazy and territorial. We're not even going to talk about him and Ianthe and how she was just fucked everything up and he just let her run shit. Next we have Rysand. Not much to say about him. He's at 100. I love everything about him. Loving the spicy scenes with him. And yeah, just can't get enough of Rysand. He better still be prominent in this next book, and it better not be all the Spring Court, or I'm going to be very upset. I don't think Rysand will ever fall from 100, but we shall see. I love his, like, flirty, sarcastic, and sensitive sides. Just all of it. I love all of him. Lucien, as I mentioned, I'm just very disappointed in him because he was my favorite character book 1. I still do have hope for him. I still think he's a good guy, and he will probably genuinely care about Elaine, and hopefully that changes things a little bit. It's definitely going to make it interesting because he can't really fuck over Feyre, and Tamlin can't either because now Nesta is his, or Elaine is his mate. So it's going to be interesting. But I hope Lucien gets his kind of revenge arc here. I really didn't like it when he, like, went to the forest and, like, went to grab Feyre and winnow her away. Like, he truly doesn't believe her either. They're all just acting like she's a possession and that she just doesn't know what she wants. And the Spring Court really is her home. And it's like, Lucien, you're smarter than that. Like, come on now. So yeah, it should be intriguing to see with him and Feyre in the Spring Court and him kind of knowing that she has other intentions, but also being mated to her sister. Again, him calling that out just after all that traumatic shit happened was so funny. Even Feyre was like, just dismissed it because, like, what the fuck, bro? You couldn't wait? But hopefully they all come together and Lucien is normal again because he deserves a happy mate. So he is down right now, but I'm hoping he will come back up. I still just don't know, like, his true intentions and what he, like, I don't know if there's something else or it's just his loyalty to Tamlin, but yeah. Then we got Azriel and Cassian. I am still an Azriel girl. I mean, he's just not really much. Like, he's not in the story that much. But I do like him. He's still my favorite of the two. I guess I'm just curious to see because I was kind of thinking that Elaine was going to be his mate and then, like, Cassian and Nesta, and it would all kind of be perfect like that. So I guess I'm interested to see who his mate will be. I'm assuming it's going to be more, which I would really like. I just want to see him like warm up and like his personality more. And I don't know if he's going to be more a part of the story, but I would like to. Cassian, I was going to have them tied, but Cassian we just seen a lot more of. He was involved a lot more. We saw a lot more of his humor. And honestly, the thing that moved him up for me was when they were talking to the Mortal Queens and he stood up for Nesta and said that he fought on the battlefield with humans and fairies and he would die for Nesta's family. And that was really sweet. And I cannot wait for him and Nesta to be mates. Like, I am so excited for that. Moving on to Nesta and Elaine. As I said, I'm really excited for them to be in the Fae realm and just see the dynamic between literally everyone. Nesta is hilarious. That's why she's moving up. Just everything she says and does cracks me up. She's just such a bitch, but like with good intentions under it. And like Feyre kind of said, she just protects her heart. She has walls up. So I'm kind of excited to see if Cassian can bring those walls down and vice versa. That's going to be a fun battle and probably pretty spicy. And I'm down for it. Like, she literally was getting dipped into a cauldron, possibly dying, and it was just, like, flipping off the king and, like, fighting the whole way. And that's just a girl you gotta get behind. And Feyre kind of hinted that she knew that Nesta would be, like, a different fairy and, like, some special kind of fairy. So I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. Elaine, she's pretty much just had the same personality throughout this whole book. She's kind. She's going to have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations in here. She's going to have to think about her marriage who she was going to get married to. So I feel like we're going to get a lot more out of this book and see more sides to where she's going to really have to like grow up and like learn about the harsh world and like kind of not be protected by her family. So I'm excited to see how she deals with all of this, but she's sweet. She's a good character, and again, really excited to see how her and Lucien end up. So yeah, that was my thoughts on book 2. It was so crazy. I'm so excited that I finally decided to binge this series, and I'm really excited to get into book number 2. I will keep you guys updated. Hello, it is a new day, and I finally started reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm on about page 100 right now, and first, I just gotta say, where is Rysand? Why did we get that whole book of Rysand, and they just found out they're mated, and all this shit goes down, and now there's no Rysand? Like, I get it, but I don't like it. I want a Rysand POV while all this is going on. Besides that fact, I am enjoying this whole Feyre get back arc. Like, I am loving Feyre right now. This is easily the most I have ever liked her. She is going for everyone's throats. She does not give a fuck, and I love it. I still think she's way too OP, and like, you're telling me now she could get into Hybern's, like, she can fight with Hybern's people who have been doing this for like 500 years in the mind games, and she's just like easily shielding them and fucking them up. She easily controlled Ianthe with it. And also I feel like, okay, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm kind of enjoying Tamlin in this book just because he is just so funny as a character right now on how sad that this man is. He is like sad and weak apparently, which I'm gonna get into, but it's just so fucking funny. Like, he truly believes that Feyre like just wants to come back to him and like missed him, and this is her court now, and Rysand was just this big bad guy. He truly believes that. Like, he just sees no suspicion, or at least Lucien sees some, but it's like Tamlin just sees nothing. He really thinks he is him. And that's just so funny to me. And now Feyre is like testing him a lot and stuff, and he just like sits back and gets mad while she goes out adventuring and stuff. And that shit is so funny. He is such a sad, broken man, and it's hilarious to me. Like, I'm enjoying it. I'm just seeing him as like this funny clown right now, and it's hilarious. Of course, he's still throwing his temper tantrums. Like, the man just doesn't learn. But as I was saying, it's like, really, Feyre, like, he doesn't notice that the twins were trying to get into his mind, and then Feyre blocked them. He's just oblivious to this all going on. Like, he's still the High Lord. It was supposed to be a strong one at that, but it's like Feyre can whoop his ass right now. And I'm just so confused by that. Like, how is this man just so fucking oblivious? Same with Lucian. Lucian, like, I know Yanthi is like strong too and a priestess, but you're like, how did she tie you up like that? Like, I don't know. Feyre is just can just outpower anyone right now, which I kind of don't like. But yeah. Oh, also, I just got to the part where she was finally gonna leave and go home to Rysand when they were all in the woods, and the part with Lucian and Yanthi happened. So of course, and now they caught her, and now she's probably gonna have to stay more. Like, I want to go back to Rysand and the crew. I want to see Nesta and Elaine and how they've been dealing with everything. Please let that happen. Okay, I will tune in again with character updates. Okay, it's me a second later, and Feyre just fucked up the twins with Lucian, and now she's taking Lucian with her to the night court, and I'm happy, so we're all good. Okay, now catch up later. Hello, I am back with another update, and this time I have updated my character rankings because I'm about halfway through A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm on page like 330 right now. As for updates on the book, they're just getting ready for the war, really trying to get the other courts allied. I feel like it's going decently well. Feyre is training, both flying and combat and reading. She's put in a lot of work in. The most intriguing thing right now is Nesta and Elaine and their powers, of course. And everyone's so terrified of Nesta, and Amren said she's like her, so that's terrifying. Also, we got the bone carver saying, or we found out that when he poses or is seen as the child to Feyre, that's her child with her and Rysand, which is awesome. So can't wait to see how that turns out. So now let's get to the character rankings. So Feyre moved up a lot. I've really enjoyed her this book. She hasn't been as annoying. She's been quite funny and entertaining. And just the whole time at the spring court, she was just, like I said, standing on business and awesome. So I moved her up. Now, Tamlin, as you can see, actually moved up. Yes, Tamlin moved up from 0 on my list. I put him to 30. And don't come at me. I still do not like the man. However, whenever he was in this book, he was just hilarious. He is like such a pathetic like clown now. It feels like everyone knows the truth and everyone's just using him, and he has no clue what's going on and thinks he's like the toughest out there, and just is so oblivious to everything. And then with Feyre, like constantly always making him mad and like pushing him, and he's just getting mad in his chair and like can't do anything about it. He's still having his like little boy tantrums, and it's just so funny to me. It's literally hilarious just watching Feyre clown on him and his like downfall, and him just being so naive to everything. And yeah, he was very entertaining, and I'm not even gonna lie, I do feel a little bad for him. Like, he's just not a smart man. So that's why he's moved up, and I'm excited to see what happens with him here after Lucian and Feyre are now both with Rhys. Moving on to Rhys, again, there's not going to be much to say about this. He is at 100. He is perfect. He is awesome. He can do no wrong. On to Lucian. Lucian has moved up. I'm very happy about it. I like that he went with Feyre. I know it was for Elaine and everything, but, you know, he's being a pretty good house guest, and, you know, Feyre's gone into his mind. He truly does care about Elaine, and I feel like really bad for him because Feyre and everyone is kind of rooting against him and Elaine. She's like, why couldn't it be Azriel? Which I get, but Lucien is a handsome, smart, caring, loyal guy. Like, I feel like he would take care of her. So I kind of hope they work out now. And I feel really bad for him. He's just like locked up in that house and can't talk to Elaine, which is the only thing he really wants to do. But I think it's cool that him and Rysand and the crew are kind of getting along. And I would love if Lucien, I know he's not going to be like ever like a part of the crew probably, but if he like fit in somewhere in Valeris, that would be really cool. So yay, Lucien, we're team Lucien again. I love it. Now we got Azriel and Cassian. I was just going to compare them together, but Azriel, I can't even explain why. I just really like Azriel. I want to see more of him. I want him to open up more. He's kind of more joking around and talking with Feyre when they are training, and I don't know, I just like his cold yet warmth personality that he has, and I'm just an Azriel girly, so I put him a little higher than Cassian here. But Cassian is still very high. Again, can't wait to see what him and Nesta do. And Cassian is just like always OP. He's awesome. He's always a great friend, protecting everyone and making everyone laugh, and he's great. Nesta, I put pretty high because, again, she's just so entertaining. And I like that she actually kind of likes this fairy life, you know, and she is trying to help in some way, even if it's just for revenge. And, like, what the fuck is her power? I need to know. Elaine, I enjoy. I just still feel iffy on. Her character is growing a lot as I thought it would. She's been through a lot, and, like Feyre said, like, I wonder how much time they really spent in that cauldron. And I'm sure they had to face so many evils, and Elaine is so, like, sweethearted and stuff. So I'm excited for when she breaks out of her shell and everything, and excited to see her power, too, which she's just been saying some weird, crazy shit, like the three-eyed raven in Game of Thrones. So I feel like maybe she can see the future or something. I don't know. But I'm honestly think we'll see how the end and stuff turns out, but this might be my favorite book so far, just because it's everyone together, and it's not the Rysand and Feyre like going back and forth. Do they like each other? Do they not? It's everyone together. Nesta and Elaine are here learning their new powers. Lucien is here, and they're plotting for a huge war. Like, I'm loving this. Here is another check-in for A Court of Wings and Ruin. I am on page 470, so I'm pretty close to the end, and I just got to the part where Hybern is destroying the wall. I have to say that the meeting between all the High Lords was like my favorite part in any acotar book. I just completely loved that. I love how in this book we've seen a lot of the other courts and met a lot of the High Lords, and I really like a lot of the High Lords, and just the whole dynamic in that meeting was amazing. I really like Helion and Tarquin. Those are probably my favorites, and I'm kind of liking Eris. Like, I'm unsure what to think of him, but not even gonna lie, I kind of like him. And then let's just talk about Nesta. Like, Nesta has just been coming through so much. She is one of my favorite characters right now. She is awesome. She's been standing up to the High Lord. She's been being nice to Feyre. She's been wanting to help. I'm so glad she's a part of the court, and they definitely should have listened to her more. I knew when she was saying that something was up, she didn't feel right, she wanted to leave, like something really fucked up was going to happen. So I wasn't surprised by that. But yeah, I absolutely loved the meeting, just all the fighting, and then the High Lords like enjoying Feyre beating Baron's ass and everything. I'm glad that Feyre did show her powers, because that was going to come up again and people were going to use that against her. And now that can't really happen. Also, let's talk about freaking Tamlin, who came. And of course, he came in a pretty angry fashion and was starting shit, saying a lot of bad things. But I'm going to come out here and say it right now. I'm enjoying Tamlin now. He is still an asshole. He is still very naive, but I really do think like that he's actually a good guy and like trying to do what's best. he just goes about it in really dumb ways. I really do think he's trying to work against Hybern. This might come to bite me in the ass. I don't know. But I kind of do feel bad for him. Like, I think he just loved Feyre and was, like, way overprotective and just didn't know how to love someone. And I do kind of feel bad, you know, that she was taken away and ran away and destroyed his court and took his best friend. Did he deserve all of that? Yes. But I do feel a little bad. And I kind of hope he gets a little redemption arc here. Like, I hope he fucks up Hybern's forces. And you know what? I hope he finds his own mate in this. I also really like the Winter Court's Callias. I think his wife, Vivian, I like how she's, you know, just standing up and being a proud woman, speaking out and, like, messing with the High Lord. And she's also seemingly very powerful. Asriel and Mor's situation is really starting to bug me because Asriel is, like, my favorite out of the group. And he obviously just loves her, and, like, neither of them are admitting it, and they're both just being stupid about it. It's causing a lot of stuff. And yeah, they just need to, like, decide one way or the other and get it over with. Like, you guys have known each other so long. If you're not mates now, I don't even know. I just want Asriel to be happy and find his mate. And I don't know. I feel like Mor is just, like, not the best for him. Like, they're very toxic all the time. But Cassian and Nesta is just a big win. When Cassian, like, ignored Mor and held Nesta's hand going to the Court of Dawn, that was insane. Like, I screamed. So, absolutely love everything that's going on right now with the courts. I love that Tarquin and Rysand might be friends, and Rysand doesn't have to act evil anymore. Everyone can start speaking the truth. I'm liking Feyre. She has not been annoying me much at all. I really enjoy her right now. I do kind of wish this was multi-POV, though, because things like when she had to go in Rysand's head when he was fighting in the war with the king, or else we wouldn't have known that would happen. So, like, I would have liked to see Rysand's point of view and things, or when Elaine and Lucien were talking. Like, I want to see some of those point of views. I think in the last book, it's multi-POV. But yeah, that would have been cool. Also, I found it a little odd when they were in bed that Feyre said that, like, she didn't want to have sex with Tamlin there. And he's like, oh, like, it's all right. It's like, do you have to have sex every night? Like, what do you mean? I thought that was a weird thing to mention, but... Oh, and also, we have to talk about freaking Lucien being Helian's son. That was crazy. I honestly still do not know how Feyre came to that conclusion, but that's crazy, and I'm honestly happy for Lucien. So he probably has some other dope powers or something, and I don't know. I'm excited to see how he will take this news, but that is a very intriguing part of the plot. And yeah, now he's destroying the wall, so I guess we're gonna see what happens next. But yeah, this is my favorite out of the 3 books so far. I'm loving this. It is a little later. I was not intending to do another update tonight, but I made it to page 500. And fuck you, Tamlin. After all that, I just made this video saying about how I feel bad for him, and he really is a good guy, you know. He might get in a redemption arc. His ass goes straight to Hybern and is now going to attack the Summer Court. Alright, Tamlin, I officially get why people call you Tampon and hate on you. You're done. Like, I hope he dies now. Even if he does some good things again, I am no longer going to trust Tamlin. So, thanks for that, Tamlin. You gaslit Feyre, you gaslit everyone, and now you just gaslit me, and I'm very upset by it. But we had the Jurian sighting, and I liked him already when he was at the Spring Court with Feyre. I could kind of tell, like, I think he's a good guy. I think he kind of likes Feyre. And now, he's just completely standing on business, fucking over Hybern. He is very smart, and I just like him a lot. He was risking everything. I mean, I'm not trusting anyone at this point, but if what he says is true, then he doesn't want vengeance on his lover and her new lover or anything. He truly just wants to help the humans, and he's a good guy and a badass fighter, and I really, really like him. So go Jurian. I liked that twist in the story of him coming out with in Elaine's boyfriend's house, whatever, and to hopefully see Tamlin's downfall. Tamlin, what are you doing to me, Tamlin? This man, I never thought Tamlin would be mentally fucking me up more in this book than he did in the second book. I praised him, and then I went on a rant against him, and now he just saved Feyre after rescuing Nesta, or Elaine, after rescuing Elaine from the king. And he came to save her. And he might be infiltrating and just pretending to be on the king's side. And I just said that no matter what, I will not trust him again. I do not know what to do. I just don't. He obviously came in clutch. I still think Feyre is like, I get trying to save the human girl, but listen, Azriel just could have carried you out, but you had to take her. You almost fucked Jurian up. I like Jurian. I don't want him to get in trouble or risk his position that is highly helping you in this war of him pretending to be on Hybern's side. I'm sorry, you don't need to take the human girl in this situation. But anyway, Tamlin coming in fucking clutch right now. And yeah, I just... What the fuck, Tamlin? We're back on Tamlin's side. I do not even care anymore. Also, big rip to the Suriel. That was sad as fuck. I do think it was kind of a, like, plot inconvenience, though, because whenever Feyre needed something, she could just entrap the Suriel. But that was really sad. I was really liking the Suriel. Whenever it popped up, I was like, yes, let's go. So, that was very sad. But Ianthe dying to fever was very nice. So, yeah, a lot is going on right now. I'm also really not liking Mor right now. Obviously, her things with Azriel and Cassian has been really annoying, and now she's, like, being a bitch to Nesta because Cassian is, like, feeling for Nesta, and now Mor's being a little jealous of that. It's like, bro, let Cassian be happy. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm very close to the end of the book. I'm gonna finish it soon. I'm not ready for how it's going to end, but go, Tamlin, let's go. This book is perfect. This book is everything I like in a book. I'm obsessed with this book. This is by far the best for me in the acotar series. We are in the midst of the war right now. Rhys gave that amazing speech. We got the freaking Bone Carver, Baraxes, and the Weaver fighting for us. Well, eventually, because R.I.P. the Bone Carver. I actually really liked him and wanted to see more of him. So yeah, that's actually pretty sad. But our army's pretty hype right now. They're getting a little lit up by the cauldron. And then, who the fuck shows up but Draken, Miriam, and freaking Feyre's dad. That is the most lit thing I've ever freaking read in a book. Okay, probably not. That just got me so hyped right now. He's been doing that. He's known about this so long. That's what he's been doing, being gone all that time. And hell yeah, you owe it to them, and you've been a bad father for all these years, but you know what? You're definitely making up for it now. He's got the ships. We got freaking the humans, Grayson's dad and Grayson. We have freaking Tamlin, who dragged Baron and his sons and everyone onto the battlefield. We got all the armies showing up. Like, this is so hype right now. And I absolutely love everything about it. I did not like everyone saying their freaking goodbyes. No one better die. I'm gonna be pissed if someone that I really like dies. And we are Team Tamlin again. We're Team Tamlin. We're Team Jurian. We are Team Eris. We're not Team Baron. But we're pretty much team everyone else. Like, the Fae are coming together. They are going to fuck shit up. Let's go. I cannot believe Feyre's dad is sailing to go fight in this war right now. Absolutely crazy. This is about to be so good. The book is too fucking crazy right now. I have 50 pages left. I'm just gonna, like, update as I need to update. So first of all, what the fuck, Amryn? What was that? I don't know what she was planning yet, but, like, seriously, what the fuck? There's so much going on. So now Feyre is just watching with the cauldron as fucking Nesta and Cassian are out there battling the King of Hybern. They're being so cute and badass at the same time. Cassian kissed her, said that was his only regret. Like, they're both just decided to die together, which is crazy as fuck. And again, they're both... And Nesta's just being so badass, and Cassian is just being so sweet and badass. Rhys freaking transformed into a beast. Like, what the fuck? And throughout all this time with Cassian, I kept remembering how Elaine said that he's going to break his wings and bones, and Cassian was like, oh, it's going to take more than that to kill me, and she said, no, it isn't. So I'm like, is Cassian really for real about to die right now? Because clearly Elaine can see everything. However, oh, also, Hybern killed their freaking dad, snapped his neck in front of them. So they never even got to, like, thank him or have a reunion. That is crazy. R.I.P. to the dad. He came in clutch. You were a good dad, okay? So then Elaine comes with fucking Truth Teller and just has the most, like, badass moment ever when she's done nothing in this book but cry. And I do not blame her for that. But, oh my God. This whole book is just like, what the fuck? But I guess Elaine's seen that that was going to happen and went and saved them. So hopefully, I mean, I'm assuming Cassian does live, but, like, I am kind of scared right now. And my only words are just, what the fuck? I'll check back in a few minutes. I'm very upset with this book. Extremely freaking upset. So, okay. Amryn obviously had a good reason. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you, Amryn. Rhys better not be fucking dead. Like, he better come back to life like freaking Feyre or something. Because, oh my God. Oh my God. I literally just ended on the part that said Rhys is dead. If Rhys is fucking dead and not in this series anymore, I'm gonna throw a fit. I finished the book. And I am very happy. I loved this book. This book was amazing. The war in this book was... I got so hyped for it, just like any sci-fi or high fantasy I read. Like, that was so good. Luckily, our man, Rhys, made it out alive. He came back with humor. He came back himself. And yeah, so glad Rhys is alive. Amryn came back too. She is now high fae. That's going to be really interesting. Elaine is starting to, like, come to herself and be more happy, settle in. Excited to see what happens with her. And I heard that this is the last of, like, Feyre's and Rhysand's story. And that the next books are, like, multi-POV, which I like. I'm excited to see more of the other characters, but I am sad to see Feyre's main, like, story end. And I really loved it. This ending was a good conclusion to the first kind of trilogy, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy right now. The ending was great. Just all the High Lords, the humans, Jurian, just everyone together, the new witch, Vasa or something, Miriam, all of them just together, and trying to see how that all fits was very nice. We need to talk about Tamlin again, coming through, saving Rhys, telling Feyre to be happy. I feel so sad for that man. And he is just rising up and up in my rankings. Like, unless he does something bad again, I do not get the hatred for Tamlin. Like, everything he did, he just did because he was stupid and he did love Feyre and he just didn't know how to, like, express it and handle his rage, which he needs to work on, but the man has had good intentions. He didn't mean all this shit with Hybern. He tried fixing it by reallying with Hybern. He saved Feyre's and Rysand's asses now, and he's just, like, broken, and I feel bad for him, and I really do want him to be happy. Like, find Tamlin a freaking mate, okay? I'm a fan of Tamlin again. I like Jurian. I even like Eris. I'm liking all these people right now. I loved this book. I'm very excited. And I'm going to do the character rankings before I go into the next book. But yeah, I'm very sad this book is over. And I don't know why people think the second is better than this one. Second book was good, but this book was great. I did not think I was going to rate any acotar book 5 stars. This book is a 5-star. Yeah, trying to organize my thoughts, but I will talk to you guys about my character rankings before the next book. This book is so beautiful. Hello, everyone. It's going to be a quick time since you last seen me, but I have not filmed in a little bit. However, I have been reading. I am now on to A Court of Silver Flames, so I'm going to be doing my character rankings for A Court of Wings and Ruin, as well as A Court of Frost and Starlight, and talking about my opinions on A Court of Frost and Starlight. So not much changed in my character rankings after book 3. We have Nesta and, shockingly, Tamlin moving up once again. Tamlin is just rising right now, on full rise. Obviously, he's helped Feyre many times. He helped Rhys when Rhys died. And he's just sad. I truly do think Tamlin was just being overprotective, loved Feyre, and just doesn't know how to handle his emotions, and was always treated as, like, the most powerful thing ever. He gets whatever he wants, and he's realizing that he's just not going to get everything he wants, and he's dealing with that. His character is still really funny and entertaining to me, but, I feel like he truly has redeemed himself in most aspects. Not that I love him, not that I think him and Feyre are a good match at all, but he has some redeeming qualities, and I hope he finds a freaking mate. Maybe then he can just calm his balls. Nesta also moved up. She is now tied with Rhys, which is crazy. I love Nesta. She was standing on business. She let herself be emotional with her dad dying and with Cassian. And Nesta was just awesome. Like, she was just ready to go down, get in business whenever she needed to. She went to the High Lord's Court, and she was being, like, emotional with Feyre for, like, the first time ever in these books, possibly life. So we loved Nesta. That's really the most for my rankings. Not much else changed besides that. So now we're going to talk about this book and these rankings. I love that the book was so short. I finished it in a day, which I never get to do for books because I'm usually reading like 600, 700 page books. And this was obviously a really easy, fast read as it was filler. I do think, although this book was filler, it was pretty important because book 3 actually had a solid ending. Like, the series could have ended there and it would have made sense. It would have been a good, happy ending. So, and I know that the 5th book, which I have already started on, is very different. It focuses on Nesta and Cassian. It's in third person. Like, it focuses on the world and other characters aside from Feyre and Rhys, R.I.P. I love them, but I'm kind of excited to see how it goes with the other characters too. I will miss it, and I do like first person way better. But anyways, going back to this book, I do think it was a necessary like buffer between the two, as the fifth book to me almost feels sort of like a sequel and a different story altogether. I liked the parts in the book. I liked them getting each other presents. I liked seeing more of Valeris and them just like not having to think about dying or death or war in this book, which was nice. The Feyre and Rysand parts were obviously good. They were trying to have a baby, which, you know, is a little fast. They got like a million years, but it's fine. Their baby's going to be adorable. I was also annoyed how much painting was brought back in this book, but it is what it is. Feyre, her personality trait is painting, and I guess we're fine with it. The main takeaways for me in this book was that I'm starting to dislike Mor a lot. Obviously, she said her secret, but she still kind of plays Cassian and Azriel, and she's like getting annoyed at Nesta and Elaine whenever the boys like give them attention, which is really annoying and cringy. And I'm just really not liking her that much. Like they did the Cassian, like she had him give her lingerie and she gave him lingerie. It's like, what are you doing? And it's teasing. It's so mean to fucking Cassian too. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Mor right now. And I'm not a fan of what SJM over here has done to Nesta. Because as I just said, she was at 100% tied with Rhys as my favorite character in the book. And now it just took her, like, I feel like it's just taken her so much down. I get a lot of bad has happened to her and she needs to deal with a lot of things. But I don't know, just the way she's doing it and the way she just, her character developed so much and she just fell all the way to the ground is really upsetting to me. And where I'm at in Silver Flames, she is even worse. So hopefully that gets fixed. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but when Cassian like threw the present he got her into the water, I was so freaking sad. So we'll see. That's my opinions, and I'm going to be done with the last book soon, and then I'm going to do a full character ranking and full book ranking. Hello, I am officially halfway into A Court of Silver Flames. First things first, this book is huge, and it's a big inconvenience to read. But onto the book. So I'm liking it so far. It's very different to have like Feyre and Rhys just so far in the background and it all be Nesta and Cassian, but I really like Nesta and Cassian. I am liking their relationship that's building. I think that Sarah J. Maas made Nesta like a little too insufferable for too long in this book. She's really one of my favorite characters and it was just ruining her. Like, I do get why she's like that to a point, but I feel like it was just overdone and lasted a little too long. Right now I'm at the part where she just went into the bog and put the mask right here on. So that's where I'm at. And things have finally been picking up. She's being nicer to some people. She's letting her feelings for Cassian come out. So we love that for them, and I just want them to be freaking mates already. Like, just tell us, because I know that's happening. I feel like the spice scenes in this book are a lot more, like, risky and a lot more crazy than the past books, which I'm not even gonna lie, I don't really like. Like, the spice scenes in this book just seem forced and, like, pretty cringe to me, honestly. Which is sad, because I really like Nesta and Cassian. But, yeah, I feel like the spice just went a little overboard and cringe this time. There's a lot of, like, repeated things, again, just Sarah J. Maas's writing that I don't like. But, obviously, it's acotar, and I'm enjoying it still. Feyre is already pregnant, which I guess they kind of explained in the book that, like, if a High Lord dies, and in their case, High Lord and High Lady would die, and they don't have an heir, then it can go to, like, anyone, really, or a random person. So I do get the need for wanting an heir, and Rhys is just being super protective, which is cute. But then the whole thing with the baby having wings and Feyre because she was in Illyrian form, like, that's a little crazy. But, yeah, I don't really know. Elaine, not really feeling her this book. She's just being her usual self. All she cares about is gardening. I'm liking, like, Gwen, the priestess, and Emery a lot. I love the training sessions with Cassian. I like how Nesta is starting to find herself again. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. And I'm excited to see how this book ends. I'm going to do just a full character ranking after I read this book. I have officially finished all of the acotar books that are currently out. This was a huge book. There is so much to say about this book, so hopefully I can bring it all together. Overall, I have mixed opinions. Obviously, I just love this series, these characters, and this world, so I still enjoyed the book, but it's definitely my least favorite besides the novella. I was happy to see a different perspective, and I really liked Nesta even better than Feyre. However, I wish it was more like actual multi-POV. We can still see Feyre's POV. We get a Rysand POV. We can see Moore's POV when she's off in Valhalla. We'd see Azriel's POV. Like, it would have been cool to, like, even Jurian's or Lucian's POV and kind of tie the world together like that besides just Nesta and Cassian's. I also thought, as typical acotar series books go, the pacing was, like, pretty slow in the beginning just in terms of what was happening in the story. And then the last 100 pages, it just goes off and goes so quickly. Like, the whole, like, 500 pages of this book is Nesta going back and forth in her mental struggles and how she's just being rude to people, and her and Cassian's relationship, which I think this was needed, and I enjoyed it, and I loved getting to know Nesta more, and she did need to have that breakdown and growth. I just think it took way, way too long. Like, it was very repetitive. She would make, like, 5 steps up and go, like, 20 steps back again, and that was kind of annoying me. Like, I get that happens, but it just happened so many times in this where we thought she has been better, and then she just goes way back down. And then it was just their training in the library and her and Cassian having sex. And that's another thing. There was so much spice in this book, and the spice was, like, very graphic. I don't mind that at all, but I think it was just a little, like, out of place, a little just thrown in there just to be thrown in there instead of more so it, like, kind of happening naturally. And I don't know, I love Cassie and Nesta, but I just feel like the sex scenes in this book were, like, very, very cringe. I didn't really find them appealing. I don't know. I'll keep my final rankings of the characters right here. This is in, like, all of acotar. I'll put them up here for a while just so you guys can see as I talk about the characters. But I love the Valkyries. I love the whole girl power thing, and they really trained so hard, and they just wanted to show Cassian and Azriel and prove to themselves that they could do everything. That was awesome. I loved the friendship they had. I really, really liked Gwen. She became one of my favorite characters. Emery I liked, just not as much. I don't even really know why. Them going in the blood right was really, really cool. I wish Nesta would have just, like, climbed with them, though. And a problem I have in all of her books, really, but more so this book, is Nesta or Feyre or everyone always saying, like, whenever they're with Cassian or Rhys and they're in a dangerous situation, they tell them to run. They never run. They always come back and help, and, like, you know, Nesta saved Cassian in the prison and stuff. But then when Nesta's friends ask her to let them stay and fight with her and not, like, baby them and not risk her life for them, Nesta doesn't listen, and she just knocks their ass out, and they go up the hill and win. Like, I feel like Nesta could have climbed or, you know, could have offered that to them. Like, I get she's being good, but I get she's being protective and a really good, brave friend, but it's like big hypocrite over here. The whole Feyre pregnancy situation, I just don't even know what to make of that. It seemed like just forced in there so that Nesta had to give up her powers because Nesta was too OP. So I don't really like that if that's the case. Also, the whole thing with the pregnancy and it like killing Feyre and just the fact like they can't do a C-section. I don't know, that whole thing, that was just a little off to me, but I'm glad they have a baby. I'm excited to see more of the baby grow. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of Feyre or any other character in this book, which I also didn't like. Like, we built up all these characters, and even when we were in Feyre's point of view, like, we really still got to kind of see the other characters a lot. Now they're just, like, background characters, which is really weird because Feyre and Rhys were, like, such a part of this whole series. I mean, the whole series. And now Feyre's just kind of, like, this happy, like, housemaid, and not housemaid, but just like a happy housewife. I don't know. That's what she didn't want to be, and now that's kind of like her only personality. Like, I feel like Feyre just seemed different than in all the whole other series. I don't know. Guess we'll go into Cassian and Nesta. They are mates. I love it. I kind of already figured it, but I'm very happy that it turned out to be true. It was really annoying how she just kept, like, they would make all their progress, you know, and then she would just go back and be so rude to him. Like, I got so excited when he gave her that sound thing in the holidays, and it was the cutest thing ever. And then she just, like, went back to attacking him, and of course it ended well after that, but just so many up and downs with them. And I, again, after 500 pages, I was just getting really tired of Nesta falling back into her usual thing. But I'm glad she showed us a different side of Nesta, and Nesta is obviously, like, my favorite character besides the bad boys. So Azriel wasn't prevalent much in here. Elaine was not. I'm just not the biggest fan of Elaine. There's not much else to say about that. I also don't like how everyone has, like, a personality. Like, Elaine's whole personality is flowers and gardens. Feyre's is freaking painting. I've mentioned that, like, a million times, I think, in this, but I can't stand it. And now Nesta has freaking music, and now she's always thinking about music and what could be a song. Like, why do they need to have this, like, artistic personality trait attached to all of them at all times? If the next book is about Elaine, and it's just all about freaking flowers and gardening, then I'm still probably gonna read it and enjoy it, but it's fine. Mor was gone the whole time, which I like. I really don't like Mor. As you can see, I like Tamlin better than Mor. She's just very selfish, I feel like, and I'm really weirded out about the thing. I'm really curious about the thing with her and Eris and how Eris left her in the woods. But he continuously has said that that's not the truth and that Mor knows that. And apparently Rhys knows it because he looked into his mind and, like, obviously saw the truth and decided to partner with Eris. I really, really like Eris. I think he is really cool and he genuinely is a good guy. And he's helped them even though they've done some shitty things to him. So I'm a fan of Eris. Which is what also makes me not a fan of Mor, because what is she lying about? Like, Eris is even being a good guy and not telling people. Like, they want Mor to tell. So it's like, what's going on? But yeah, she's, like, always hating Nesta for what reason? Because Cassian likes her, but she doesn't want Cassian to like her, and she likes girls anyway, and all this shit. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Mor. People think that she is going to, like, backstab the crew somehow, and I wouldn't be surprised. On to Amrim. I don't really like her. I thought she was, you know, always acting too tough, and, like, even though Nesta was a bitch for her and did have to say sorry, like, Amrim was also a bitch to her. Amrim was always body shaming her and just talking trash about her for what reason? So yeah, I'm not Amrim's biggest fan. Tamlin was barely in this book. Also, he's just, like, having a mental breakdown, which I want to see Tamlin's point of view. The reason I have Tamlin kind of higher is I just liked whenever he's in the book. Like, I never wanted him to be like, oh, I'm sick of him, get him off the page. No. I was into the Tamlin content, and he just avenged himself multiple times, I feel like. Again, not saying he's a great person in general, but I liked him as a character, and I want to see what happens with him. I hope he finds a mate, truly. The whole Braylon thing, I feel like, was just kind of like a side trope to the Cassian and Nesta show over here. It was okay. Not much to say about it. Nesta just overpowered the fuck out of her. So at least we don't have to worry about her anymore. One part I can think of I found funny was that Cassian, like, one I really don't like about Sarah J. Maas's writing is that they just, like, she picks on one thing and will just continuously bring it up, and I don't understand it. And what I'm thinking of is, like, Elaine in the black dress, and everyone's just constantly, like, just trashing Elaine in their head about the black dress. Like, Cassian had, like, a whole freaking paragraph talking about how terrible the dress made Elaine look. And I think it was just so the readers and, you know, people at the ball would see Nesta looking better because Elaine always looks better. I don't know, but yeah, that part was weird. I didn't like how Reese and them even made asked Nesta to go, like, try to seduce Eris. It's just, like, wrong. It's wrong to Eris. It's wrong to Nesta. Like, what? So yeah, overall, the book was fine. It was, I think, way too long. All this could have been said and done way shorter and way less repetitive with the whole Nesta thing. Again, I'm glad our girl is good, though. It was a pretty happy ending, which we know won't last. My hopes for the next book are that we see more Azriel and Jurian. I like Jurian a lot. I like him and Lucien and that whole thing they have going on. And I also like Eris. Like, I want to see more Eris. I want to see more Tamlin. I want to see more of the world. Like, I feel like this could have been such a cooler story if we saw some of Eris's point of view, as I said before, or Moore's point of view on the other side of the world. Like, different things that are going on besides being in Nesta's depressed head. Okay, so now we will rate the books. Okay, I got them all here. Can we just take a moment to look how pretty this is? Like, I love the style books in these, like, solid, bright colors. Okay, so of course we're going to start from the bottom, and that will be A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's just a novella, obviously. I didn't hate it. There's just nothing really to it. Next, we will indeed have A Court of Silver Flames. Love Nesta, love Cassian, love their relationship. Way too long, way too repetitive, and wanted some more POVs. After that, we have the one that started it all, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Obviously, I enjoyed this book. Not much bad to say about it. I loved it. I just prefer the next two a little better. It seems like these last two are always switched on being the favorite in people's opinions. And with that being said, my second favorite book in the acotar series so far is A Court of Mist and Fury. I loved it. I loved being introduced to Valeris. I obviously loved her and Reese and seeing their relationship grow, seeing Feyre battle her own demons and become stronger, become happy for what seems to be a very long time. So this book definitely stepped everything up and just made me want to live in Valeris and marry a High Lord. And that means number one is A Court of Wings and Ruin. I just tore this book up. I absolutely loved it. I love that we got to see Feyre and Rysand's relationship develop. And more importantly, I love that we got to see more of the characters. We got more Cassian. We got more Azriel. We got her sisters brought into the mix, turned high fae. There's just so much going on. The war was awesome. I loved the creatures like the Bone Carver. There was a lot going on here, and I loved every single bit of it. This video was such a long time in the making. Thank you guys for watching and going on this acotar journey with me. Let me know what you think the next book is going to be about, if it's going to be Elaine's perspective, if we're going to have a war, like what's going on. Yeah, even making this video, I'm just sad. Like, I'm happy the chapter has ended, but I'm also very sad. And I'm happy to move on, but I also don't want to move on. So, recommend books down below.